Hello guys, Dyutam Joy from Dauntless Dyutams here. Welcome to Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1, Part 22. We are playing this game in Master of Deduction difficulty. Follow us in Facebook and Twitter. Links are given below. Now, we have to interrogate Mr. Santos Pinchetti, as he is the prime suspect among Mr. Manchio, Miss Matista, Mr. Vogel. He calls police in the mansion after knowing about the murder of Mr. Fabio, but he is among the prime suspect. We will try to solve the murder mystery in this part and hopefully complete the main quest, Sacrificial Lamb. So without much delay, let's start investigation as Sherlock Holmes. Let's begin. So guys, before that let me show you that we are playing this game in Master of Deduction difficulty in investigation segment, and in combat it is balanced. So let us proceed.
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here. They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
Okay, so he got the key. So let us interrogate Mr. Pinchetti. Room number 7. There he is.
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
Patched holes, repaired multiple times. Okay. Inflamed skin. What? Psoriasis or allergy? Psoriasis. Okay. Dyed textile colored more than once. Blood splatter, stepped in blood. I see. Santos Pinchetti is the head servant at the Manchio's mansion. Despite being employed at the highest position within the household, he appears to be poor. His body shows symptoms of psoriasis. I don't know what is this. Mr. Pinchetti hides his damaged skin under layers of makeup. The majordomo's suit had multiple holes that had been patched or sewn. To renovate the suit's look, Mr. Pinchetti had dyed it. Has financial difficulties, yes.
You are the major domo of a rich mansion, and you seem barely able to afford decent clothing. You hide under heavy makeup a skin disease that might be treated with more onerous but less harmful means. Do you have money troubles?
Do not have a lot of means. The pay is below what you might expect.
But you could easily change your job if your employer does not meet your elementary needs.
One can change his employer, that is true.
And the blood on your shoe, where does that come from?
I don't actually know. Perhaps from a guest?
From a guest?
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
And Matista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker, She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
So Santos was arrested and placed in interrogation room 7 along with his confiscated belongings. Okay. Mind tree. So Pinchetti missed the blood splatter. Santos Pinchetti failed to notice a blood stain on the side of his shoe while cleaning himself after the murder. Okay. So Pinchetti accidentally stepped in blood. Santos Pinchetti may have stepped in the blood while discovering the crime scene. I see.
Please let me out.
Kurt Manchio's will and note. A small note attached to the will says, Santos, my hopeful slug, you begged me to include you in my will, so I did. Here's my latest revision of the will. Kurt, the text of the will under the note. Santos Pinchetti, the majordomo of the Manchio's mansion, receives a jar of mustache wax and a salt lamp that he might always remember his caring employer, Kurt Manchios.
I recognize the key from the altar room among these. Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a majordomo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love, cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a majordomo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship.
Anything new in the Mind Palace? Yes. So Santos Pinchetti's efforts in vain. Pinchetti has been forced to work for Kurt Manchios in the desperate hope of obtaining heritage, but it hasn't paid off. Okay. The letter may have been for Manchios, according to Santos Pinchetti, and by the content of the letter, it may have been addressed to Kurt Manchios. Okay. So the letter found in Vogel's pocket may have been addressed to Kurt Manchios. Santos mentions Manchios gifting strange and expensive gifts to Fabio. In the letter, Fabio mentions gifts he would keep due to someone's temperament. It seems that Fabio wrote this angry letter to Manchios. Okay. Yeah, we read it. So I think we have to visit Mr. Manchio again. Let's see.
There is undeniable evidence that you were the original recipient of this letter.
What are you talking about? Is it addressed to me?
Your protege wanted a fresh start, it seems. This is sufficient to charge you.
Me? Hurt my star? Are you insane that you would accuse me of such a thing?
He did not consider himself as yours. Since you deny everything, let's move on. Do you have any idea as to how the letter could have ended up in Mr. Vogel's pocket?
You were the detective. Perhaps he took it from Fabio. Werner was a little high.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him.
So Manchios denies any connection with the letter and claims that Vogel took it from Fabio. Okay. Let's see.
Could Fabio have written this letter to Kurt Manchios?
Oh. That could be. I never thought Mr. Manchios could make Fabio that angry, though.
What do you mean?
Well, Fabio wanted to disassociate from Mr. Manchios. Clients who are in love are both a blessing and a curse.
But Fabio was here tonight.
Money. In our line of work, we can't afford to turn down clients who pay as well as Kurt Manchios.
Was Fabio afraid of Mr. Manchios?
Not at all. The old toad wouldn't dare to do more than sweet talk and touching. Talk can be forgotten, and touching washed away.
Okay. Fabio broke Kurt Manchios' heart. Fabio shattered Kurt Manchios' feelings.
I have reason to believe that the intended recipient of the incriminating letter may have been Kurt Manchios.
Well, that makes sense. Too bad I can't remember how I came to possess it. Though I did spend quite some time with Mr. Manchios during the party.
Unfortunately, even with an answer, that may still not be enough to clear you with the police. But fear not, I will persevere.
I hope your attempt to put things straight will make up for...
You being on a bender?
touché.
Okay. Vogel took the letter under influence. Werner Vogel took the letter himself. Whilst under the effect of various substances, Manchios planted the letter. Kurt Manchios slipped the letter into Werner Vogel's pocket to make him look like a suspect. So Kurt Manchios is the murderer. For years Fabio played with Kurt Manchios' heart and abused his interest in the young performer. When Manchios received yet another rejection, he murdered Fabio and staged a love ritual to avoid suspicion. Crime of passion. Kurt Manchios was heartbroken and panicked and did not mean to kill Fabio. The improvised ritual was a desperate attempt to cover up the crime. A prison sentence should be enough, for his harsher punishment is the death of his love, a sexual predator. Kurt Manchios killed Fabio in cold blood. He staged the crime as a ritual to blame Matista. He planted the letter in Vogel's pocket to avoid suspicion. Manchios has no consideration for the life of others and deserved to be hanged. Yep, I think so. So we have made our conclusion. Let us accuse him. He's in 5, I think. Yep.
The murder of Fabio did not have a ritual purpose, Mr. Manchios. It was staged by a man who wished to distract the investigation.
That might be true. That poor girl Matista wouldn't dare to kill the only man who cared for her. So, Santos.
Mr. Pinchetti snatched at the chance to solve his problems.
Ungrateful little scum. Will he be executed?
But what for? He informed the police as to the crime, that was all. He couldn't stage the ritual, but he found the body, I believe.
I can't believe it. Why did Werner do it?
Mr. Vogel. He had no reason, and he won't be a scapegoat as you plan. You put Fabio's letter in his pocket when he was intoxicated, didn't you?
You can't be serious.
Oh yeah, I'm serious.
You staged the murder as a satanic ritual. It was easy for you since you were the one who wrote the scenarios for the parties. It was your way of avoiding suspicion. A respectable man in his 60s,
Early 60s.
who hosts the cream of Cordona's society, cannot possibly be a murderer. But the guests who behave like animals in his mansion, of course, one of them could have killed Fabio.
I did oversee a few of the rituals, but I did not stage Fabio's death.
We can very often deduce someone's life by their shoes or their fingernails. You are a meticulous person, but this murder was fairly traumatic and filthy. After you stabbed Fabio, you were covered in blood. You panicked and neglected to rinse the soap from under your fingernails. The devil is in the details, Mr. Manchios.
Nonsense. I missed it simply because of the busy schedule of the party.
Of course, a staged murder was certainly not planned. You're at the twilight of your life. You have no partner, you have no children. You had feelings, however, for one man. That was Fabio. You loved him. That is, you wished to own him with money and gifts. But he was also a free mind, was he not? He turned his back on you. Quite unjust. Love, so cruel and painful, and Fabio, with his words and deeds, made you feel the more wretched. So you killed him.
You must surely perceive that my sensitive nature wouldn't allow me to hurt anyone.
It was a crime of passion and it was a premeditated murder. Yes,
The young performer played with your emotions. That was painful to realize. You spent so much time and effort to be with Fabio, but he didn't respond in the way you would have liked. You wanted to be loved. Fabio shattered your dreams. In the smoking lounge, he teased and mocked you. He wanted you to suffer by offering himself to others. The deception was unbearable. You struck him, and then you staged the ritual. You planted the letter in Vogel's pocket and attempted to set up Matista.
What poppycock? Sherlock, stop this game now.
There is no stop word, Mr. Manchios. Relax and enjoy it. I'll pass the remainder of this case to Constable Oswald. He'll know what to do with you.
I should inform the constable of my findings. He probably has something to share with me as well. Yep. Report back to him.
I have a name for you. Kurt Manchios.
Is that so? The master of the Sabbath?
The man himself. Mr. Manchios couldn't stand to lose control over his lover. A deadly revenge that deserves a proper sentence. I have all the evidence to charge him.
A degenerate and a murderer. I'll make a name thanks to that for sure. As for my part, not everything was in place. Perhaps some documents were transferred somewhere else, but I couldn't find a trace of them. Then I remembered. The discarded document drawers where we put the lost papers or the badly labelled ones. Including the crime scene report of Violet Holmes's case. Everything I've found is on the desk here. Take it.
Your persistence has saved me.
Yeah, well, we had a deal after all. Your friend is free then. You can leave.
Good luck, Constable.
Okay guys, so we have completed the quest Sacrificial Lamb. Report number 7-243. Officers arrived to find the deceased, identified as Mrs. Violet Holmes, lying in the garden of Stonewood Manor. Visual inspection showed the victim to be thoroughly soaked with a deep vertical incision 2 inches in length down her throat. Her face was swollen and covered in red blotches, likely cause of death hypoxia. Awaiting confirmation from medical examiner. Main suspect auto richer was arrested on the scene. The body was sent for autopsy. Okay.
Garden. There's a garden behind our manor. How could I forget? That's where it all happened, where it all went wrong.
Sherry, it looks like you've almost found what you wanted.
Oh, you did it, Sherlock! The case is closed and all rewards belong to the winner. Bravo!
It is merely the triumph of the truth.
Is it? No compromises? No lies? You're happy with your decisions?
Whatever the truth, it had to be revealed. The victim deserved it.
Well, you seem confident in the value of your actions. I guess since I'm free, you were heard after all. By the way, did you get that precious information about your mother? Oh, not that you must.
Yes, I did.
Forgive my intrusion in such a personal matter. I simply worry I'm failing to be of much help to you.
Actually, you were. For some reason, all the archives on the case had disappeared. This was a rare opportunity to obtain the impossible.
Outrageous. Perhaps someone found the truth unpleasant. Society usually rejects those who speak with too much honesty, doesn't it?
A comfortable lie is often preferred to an uncomfortable truth. Still, I believe that the latter should prevail, and I cannot remain silent.
That's quixotism at its best. Your mere truth cannot defeat institutions, systems, and power. Etiquette, religion, marriage, they're all lies told to preserve connections, love, and sanity. And it's all corruptible.
Lies destroy human dignity. How could you make a free decision without any knowledge of the truth?
Are we really free to decide anything in this world, Sherlock?
Spare me the lecture.
I get enough obnoxious pontification from my brother, so please, spare me your lecture.
Forgive my love for moral philosophy. I know I tend to ramble. You're a walking contradiction, Sherlock. You refuse to lie to others, but constantly lie to yourself. How long until the train comes off the track? I cannot look away, but perhaps I should take a few steps back. You're an accident waiting to happen, dear. Until then, I shall bid you adieu.
What do you mean? So guys, we have completed the quest Sacrificial Lamb and found Kurt Manchio guilty. In the next part, we will continue with the quest A Mother's Love. That's been said, that's all from 22nd part of Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. In this channel, you will watch and enjoy latest games walkthrough in the hardest difficulty available, part by part till the end. We need your support, guys. Please do like, subscribe and share the video. Make sure to hit the notification bell and stay updated with our recent content. We would love to hear from you guys and wholeheartedly appreciate your valuable feedback. Dyutam Joy from Dauntless Dyutams signing out. See you in the next part. Till then, take care and stay alert like Sherlock.